So we're going to talk about, so this actually spawned from you guys. We got questions and said, hey, we're going to give you the tactics, right? We're going to give you best practices. We're going to give you more product recommendations so you can actually implement. And yeah, so that's really it. And so we're going to run through it. And so you can stop leaving money on the table and, help take your store to the next level where you're at. That's the goal. Okay. So you're gonna walk away with tactical things. So I lost my screen. There we go. All right. So thank you to everyone who can join us. Let's turn your TPT products into more money makers, right? We want them to make money this quarter, right? Not talking about like in 3 years. We're like, we want now. Who would be okay with that? Like making more money on TPT? Yes, right? Absolutely. So what I want is for your products to make more money. And if you do want that, you're in the right room. So in the next 60 minutes, we're going to show you some simple wins that you can ship this week, not next year. Okay. So that's the goal for tonight. Okay. So thanks for being here and taking this time. I want it to be valuable for you guys. I do. I really do. And let's get after it. Hold on. This chat window, sorry, is being not cooperative. So I cannot see you. There we go. Okay. So just a quick check real quick. Where are you at right now, right? And when it comes to, hey, my products are not selling at all, like zero traction, it's crickets. Like I've poured my heart and soul into this, but sales aren't coming. Just like, if that's you, just throw, hey, yeah, crickets. Drop crickets in the chat for me, right? What about, hey, they're selling, but they could be doing better. And if that's you, drop like better in the chat, okay? And then new products, this could be everyone, like launching soon. So, hey, you're about to hit publish, but you want to make sure that you nail it from day one and they get visibility. What about anyone drop there, say new products, okay? So if any of these, like again, I love it, new products. We got a good mix here. This is great. Love it. So you guys are, again, this is a really good diverse group of people and sellers. So this is good, fun. Page views. Yes. Who needs more page views in the house? Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. That gets everything else going. You need page views before you can do anything else, right? Visibility is key. You guys sound like, I like it. We have an educated audience. You guys sound like you already know what you're doing. So this is great. So many sellers, right? What we found, and we've analyzed literally like over 2,000 stores now. So many sellers stop and never implement the last mile tactics. And that's really the part that makes the most money, right? And so I want you to walk away with tactics that you implement right away and get your store momentum, right? So you can be on the path to level up your store. Like that's my goal for you, okay? So you're gonna walk away with 3 things: optimization tactics, okay? So learning about titles, covers, previews, thumbnails, and pricing. So simple tweaks that can drive conversions, right? You're gonna walk away with that. Again, best practices from data that we've actually seen, analyzing, again, over 2,000 stores. So we've seen a lot of data. We'll walk through a live audit. Again, we got questions about, hey, how do I interpret this audit? Right? If you're here, obviously you got an audit, or if you are here and you didn't have an audit, you want to fill it out. Still, that's great. This month alone, we had over 600 requested out, which is crazy. Yeah, crazy. So again, I'll show you that data that we saw from that, but we're going to show you where the gaps are and opportunities that exist in your store. No guesswork, right? And then personalized optimization. You guys asked for, hey, can I see a couple more examples? So we're gonna, if you showed up, you're gonna get that. We're gonna go through that live file, a couple more optimizations for you and action items that you can implement this week. Okay, before I get into that, real quick, Beth, my wife, she's not here. She's my better half. She started her store in 2016, and we're a husband and wife team. And then in 2021, we started Your Data Playbook because we were doing things with data that helped her grow. And we presented at a TPT conference and realized that other people could use what we were doing. And so that's where YDP was born. And since that point, we have worked with over 1,000 sellers. Okay. So we've analyzed over 2,000 stores with audits, but actually like worked with like paying members. It's been over 1,000 people. So yeah, we've seen a lot of different things, talked to a lot of different people. So we have a good understanding of what works, what doesn't work. And we have the largest data set outside of TPT, right? So we actually can understand what's going on. Okay. So what we see is that there's a gap, right? What we analyzed specifically from your stores that were submitted this month, like I said, 600 audits were requested. We analyzed 400 because some people didn't complete your audit. If you haven't completed your audit, I get it. Some people like sharing your credentials can be a little bit scared. Who was scared like sharing your credentials? Like, yeah, anyone can relate to that. I know the first time for people like, yeah, that's hey, and if you are scared, like again, you don't have to, you can change your credentials afterwards, but that's really the only way we can get and be able to analyze your store. So sorry if that scares people. It is like military grade encryption. Like we've again a lot, thousands, over 2,000 people have used it. But that said, if you are here and you haven't completed your audit, feel free to do that. Again, I know it's scary. You can always get the audit and then change your password afterwards, right? But TPT doesn't enable any API access for us to be able to connect any other way. So this is a custom integration that we had to build in order to be able to do this. Okay. So what we have found analyzing the stores, right, is patterns emerge. The gap between stores and where they are and where they could be is significant and fixable, right? So this is just from your stores this month, okay? Of the 400 audits that we delivered this month, we identified 87,000 actions, right, which represents an opportunity of about $3 million, okay? By store, again, we have stores from all over the board here. By store, that's about $27,000 to $52,000 on an annualized basis, meaning over 12 months, right? So that's a lot of money being left on the table, right? Pretty crazy, right? Let's sink in. Again, these are just small tweaks that you can make in order to optimize. So when we broke it down for you, this is what we see. So you're not alone if you saw this in your audit, right? So what you see here is the most prevalent, or like the worst offender, was filling out your title. What is like, okay, cool. Like literally 64% of all products. So we analyzed, so of those 400 stores, is about 50,000 products. So 64% of them actually like their titles were underutilized. So you have 80 characters, right? You want to be found by maximizing those characters in your title, right? Like increasing visibility. You guys just mentioned that page use, like make sure that you are optimizing your titles for those 80 characters. And I'll explain more a little bit later, but just that was the worst offender. Then in price increases, right? Price increases, that is the perennial worst offender as well. Oftentimes what we have found, I know it's a challenging environment, especially in education and with the economy, but like what we have found is oftentimes you guys undervalue your work. You underprice your work, and oftentimes that leads to, hey, you can actually price it higher, right? Increase prices. Almost 20% of products didn't even have a preview, right? What we know, but hey, a product that has a preview versus a product that doesn't have a preview converts way better, right? And on down the line, you can see what were the actions that we identified in terms of worst offenders, right? So we're going to go through these different applications, right? In terms of how to fix these right now today. And so that you can translate that lost money into more earnings, right? And I'm going to give you really practical ways to do it. So the good news, you guys, is that this gap leads to opportunity, right? I think that's the biggest way I can position it for you. Like not all hope is lost. Like there is ways to improve it, and we have seen people improve it. So the gap leads to opportunity. Every missing preview, every underutilized title, every week cover, there's revenue opportunities waiting to be unlocked. That's the key, right? Small fixes, big impact. Cool? Okay. So how do we unlock the opportunity? Let's go look at product listing optimization best practices. That's it, right? It's literally just how do I optimize my product? How do I do that last mile of the product listing well? Okay. Real quick. Who here in creating products loves previews? Like it's their favorite aspect of the product creation process. Like who's like, yes, I'm all about it. I'll do it all day, every day. And Peter's like, no, no way. Yeah, right. And the crazy part is that actually, what you'll see, that actually has the biggest impact on conversion, believe it or not. So it literally, that helps decide whether someone purchases or not. And I'll show you the data behind it here in a sec. Okay. So let's go look at this right now. So fundamentally, we need to understand the customer journey, right? So like this, just the bedrock foundation. When we talk about product listing optimization, when we talk about the journey a customer goes from like discovering a product to purchase, like we have to understand, okay? Understanding the customer journey is foundational. It's first principles knowledge, right? You want them, and you have to understand this in order to stop leaving money on the table. Every successful sale starts with knowing, right, your potential customers, how they're discovering you, what influences their buying decisions, what barriers might they have from stopping and making a purchase. Your job is to understand your potential customer at every stopping point of the journey and help them by giving them more information to increase confidence so that they can make a more informed decision to be able to increase conversions, right? So when you can optimize each stage, okay, of the journey, you smooth the path to purchase. And what happens is that in conversion rate, it increases and then it ensures that you can pull the full potential of every visitor that visits your product page down the funnel to purchase. Like that's what it's all about here. So really understanding who's heard of the customer journey before? Anyone know what I'm talking about? Yeah, cool. All right, Peter. Awesome. Love the engagement. Sweet. Awesome, Ginger. Well, Lori, love it. So, and I'm going to keep cruising through this because we got a lot to cover, right? But at its high level, right? It's all about discoverability, right? So what's the first stage of discoverability? Hey, making sure your product can be found, titles, descriptions, right? Tags, making sure that people can find it. Because if you can't be found, you don't exist. I'm sorry, but that's just the reality, right? If you can't be found in search, you don't exist. Even you might have the most amazing product ever, but if it's buried on page 7, you don't exist. That's just the reality of it. Then the next stage is awareness. It's all about capturing attention, right? What do you think capturing attention is about? Stopping the scroll. It's your cover, right? The next stage is consideration. This is all about what we were just talking about, convincing, creating confidence. This is with previews. That's where the conversion magic happens. If you do not undervalue the power of a persuasive preview. I cannot understate that enough or overstate that enough. So, and all of that leads to and contributes to a purchase, right? So optimize for each one of these things along that customer journey, and you will end up with more cha-chings. It's proven and it's scientific, and it's also an art of how you craft it, right? So the goal, gain a customer's attention and keep your customers engaged and provide them with all the necessary information they need to make a confident purchase decision. That's the goal, right? And how you do that, you minimize uncertainty and increase confidence. Okay. So we're going to walk through that. We're going to walk through that right now. So discoverability. Again, we're walking through best practices right now. So the first thing about discoverability is it's all about the top of the funnel, right? Again, if you're not getting traffic, if you're just starting out or you're a veteran seller and you don't have traffic, like don't do anything else, but just try to show up on page 1 for one keyword. That's what it's all about here, okay? Discoverability, getting found. So fully leveraging your titles, you guys. We need to, but in order to fully understand and leverage our titles, let's just peel back the onion on SEO, right? And really what it comes down to is like SEO really is all about connecting supply and demand, right? You guys are the supply. You create products that go on the marketplace, and then demand are the teachers or parents who search for it, right? And so what SEO does is it is the bridge to connect your product's supply to the demand, because users type in different keywords, right? That's all it is. So think of SEO as literally the bridge or the link to connect your product, the supply, to the demand. That's it. Okay. It's at its simplest form. You want to be found and you want to use terms that people are searching for. That's it. Okay. So the two main tasks, and we break it down, are keyword research. Where is demand, right? And how am I capturing that demand? Where are my products showing up relative to that demand? Those are the two things, the two most important jobs you need to do when it comes to SEO. Okay. And I'll tell you this, it's easier to satisfy existing demand than go create your own, right? That's why TPT is beautiful. There's a ton of embedded demand. So go for it, okay? When was the last time you went to page 2 on Google? Anyone? Distribution is king, meaning if you show up on page 1, you will be found, okay? 47% of products, what we found in this study, right? So we studied 350,000 products from our members, right? What we found, again, similar to what we just saw tonight, you guys are no different. This is, again, a year ago when we did this study. 47% of those products had 20 or more characters available in their title, meaning they had 25% of their title that they weren't using to help their products be found, okay? So the goal here is cast as big of net as possible, right? Why? So how do you do that? By targeting more diverse keywords so that multiple queries can find you, or multiple user queries can be searched, and it's easier for you to be found because you're targeting multiple keywords. Okay, cast a big net so that you can be found. Okay, here's an example of a product. Literally, I'm sorry if this is your product, but this is someone's title. Commas, like really, I'm sorry, but like this, you're not giving yourself a fighting chance to be found. You're not. How about this one? right? See the difference? Again, something super basic, but these are the best practices that people are not implementing, right? This, you level up your game and give you a way higher probability of winning when you actually fully maximize your title. Cool? So in this study, this is what we found, right? We found, again, this is products that have at least 1,000 page views, okay? We found that 1,700 title optimizations with at least 20 more characters available that increased their length to 70 more characters or more, 70 characters or more, increased their traffic by 29%, which resulted in an average earning about $2,000. So just by leveraging and creating more surface area for you to be found, an extra $2,000. Again, this is products that already have traffic. Okay. The point is, though, is that it makes a huge difference, right? Just by fully leveraging your title, right? 20 characters, and hey, now you have 80 characters. Again, because you're targeting more keywords in order for you to be found by more user searches. That's it. Okay. You want to see the next one? All right. So this is another one related to search. Rescuing products from the product graveyard. Anyone have any products that are just in the graveyard, like not getting any views? Like, hey, a lot of times people post things, post new products. They don't do keyword research before. They don't understand what they should be searching for or what they should be using, right? This is, again, where you need to implement best practices, okay? So the fear of your products becoming obsolete or not being found, what do you think, right? Huge. So again, in the same study, what we found was this: 20% of those products had not sold in the last 12 months. Okay. 95 of those, so of those 20%, 95% of them did not have one keyword ranking on page one for any keyword. Right. So think about that. One of those 20% of products that did not sell in the last 12 months, the main variable that we found, 95% of those did not have one keyword ranking on page one for any term. That just shows you and solidifies. Like, you have to make sure when you're posting new products, make sure you're showing up on page one. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. Okay. So the key here is recognizing that not all traffic is created equal. If you're in a competitive market, go after terms not like math, but go after terms like math centers, first grade prep, right? It's longer tail, meaning less volume, less traffic, but higher relevancy, meaning higher quality traffic that you're going to convert for. So don't go for always the most popular terms, go for less popular terms, especially if you're a newer seller or it's a newer product. Like, go after the long tail keywords, less popular, you'll have better success. And this is what that graph shows, okay? So strategies to revitalize these listings, right? Find low competition, long tail keywords with highest popularity, and use an SEO formula, right? And we have this in the bonus that we give you, this formula. So you don't, if you want to write it down, you can, but we have it in the bonus too. So the anchor term, right? So that's your most important term. And then long tail keywords, stack them up. 1, 2, 3. Obviously try to make them human readable, but that's the goal here. Okay. And what we found, okay, in our study was this. This is what we found. Of those 20% that had not sold in the last 12 months, 95% of those, again, not one keyword on page one. So this is how much they made, right? So they had 0 keywords on page one. On average, they made $33 a month, right? If they had at least one keyword, it was almost 4 times. So if they had, afterwards, they increased their earnings. They had one keyword ranking on page one, their earnings increased to $130. Okay, look at the difference. Now, if they had more than one keyword, look at how much it shoots up. $900. Okay, you guys. So this is the key. This is the game. This is the game. You got to get visibility. And in order to you get visibility, then you make money. Okay. So I cannot stress this enough. Cool. Anyone's mind blown? It's simple, right? No keywords, no traffic. One keyword, hey, I make 4 times. And then, hey, I make 10 times. That's the beauty of it. Okay. So revitalizing, and keep this top of mind when you are optimizing, right? And when you are doing your keyword research. It's not a matter of how many words. It's literally, hey, how many keywords can I fit without stuffing and make it human readable? Like, so the goal is to target as many keywords as possible, right? Maximize that character. And then for descriptions, you want to use the first 150 characters or words are the most highly highly weighted in terms of the description. So yeah, it's in the email exactly. Okay, I gotta keep cruising because we got more content so awareness stage. This is all about creating eye-catching covers, right? So this is all about stopping the scroll, you guys. Like the purpose of a cover, stand out in the crowd, get a buyer's attention, right? I cannot stress this enough. With TPT being more saturated, more competition, etc., it's easier than ever to create products, right? So you need to stand out in the crowd, right? So just imagine the loss of not grabbing a buyer's attention. Think about like the cover is the digital equivalent of like curb appeal, like for a house. Like you want to, how attractive does your house look from the curb? You know, if you've ever sold a house, like you want to make it look nice before to increase attractiveness, get people to pay attention, right? Same concept in the digital world with covers. Okay, covers. They should be clear and eye-catching, right? Think of a great store like window display. They should incite curiosity and intrigue. Like you want them to stop. Oh, what is that? Right? It should be something that's not dull, right? You want it to be eye catch again, pop, make it stand out. Communicate value. What does the product include, right? Give them a couple selling points, right? You know, value proposition. Is it a year-long curriculum? What standards does it cover? What skills are covered, etc. Right? Okay. Don't here's a couple quick audits like, hey, you can't read the product title. It's super crowded, super dense, not adding any attention value at all. Again, this screen real estate here is not optimized, right? So you want to think about like, hey, optimized for grid view. It's informative. I can clearly see what it is. Clear value prop. Again, it's a color scheme. It's very easy to read. Obviously, I know this is for a newcomer, etc. Okay. But just you want to think about how it looks. Is it easy for someone to understand? And is it super dense? Does it stand out, right? Think curb appeal, okay? Again, in the same study, what we did when we looked at covers that were not optimized and optimized, this is what we found, right? We analyzed about 1,800 successful cover optimizations. And once optimized, they increased their traffic by about 27%, okay? So like capturing attention does pay off, right? It stops the scroll and it does work. If you were on the town hall last month, TPT also this month also mentioned it too. Like again, super valuable from a conversion perspective. And again, what we found that 28% or 27% increase in traffic translates to about $1,800 on average. Again, this is averages. They're like results do vary by store, but on average, this is what we saw from this study, right? $1,800 roughly. Okay, so capturing attention does pay off. Okay, cool. Okay, the consideration phase. This is what you got. Again, those that raise their hand said, I hate previews. This is previews, right? So this is all about convincing and creating confidence, okay? Creating previews that convert. Same study. And TPT also says this. 62% of buyers say that previews have the biggest impact on purchase, you guys. Like I said, this is last mile stuff here, like I said. And what we did, we analyzed products without previews and products with previews. And what we found is that products with previews, again, I'm just talking static PDF previews, convert 17% better than a product without a preview. Okay, so it doesn't have the video preview, and again, I actually have my opinions about video previews as well. We could talk about after in the Q&A, but bottom line, you need to have a preview, and your bundles need to have a preview. Okay, like it's night and day, right? If we look at the math here, If you have a product that has 2,000 page views a month, right? Essentially, that translates to, instead of it converting at 4%, it converts at 4.5% when adding a preview. That translates to about $125 a month or about $1,500 a year. That one difference, right? So how long does it take you to add a preview? It pays off, okay? Like I know it's challenging if your time scarce, but totally works, okay? The data proves it time and time again. TPT says it. So just, again, if you haven't, start with your best sellers and do it. Okay. The preview, what's the purpose of it? It's to keep your audience engaged and provide them with all the necessary information to make a confident decision, right? Minimize uncertainty, maximize certainty. That's the goal here. Okay. How should we structure previews? Similar to again, you think about the cover as, hey, the curb appeal, your preview is the digital home tour, right? Like they want to verify what you said in the title, what you said in the description is actually, they can verify it here. So this is their digital home tour, okay? You want to structure it like think of it like a funnel too, awareness, consideration, and purchase, right? So it's a mini, excuse me, it's a mini funnel. So you want to give them a 30,000 foot view. Tell them what they're going to see, right, in your preview, then show them. Oftentimes we see a ton of show, like a ton of images, but you don't have context. You want to tell them first, then show them, and then convert them by like customer reviews, answering FAQs there. Anything that creates friction or creates doubt, add that in the preview. Okay. Again, I could talk for hours about previews because it's a huge area of opportunity. But generally speaking, you want your previews to be templated and follow a sequence of information, a highest to lowest level of information, and then reinforce the value with customer reviews, FAQs. So yes, we'll send out you get the replay. Okay. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat, you guys, just for sake of time. I will come back and answer all your questions. Okay. So don't of previews, right? Don't make it super dense and blurry, especially on level one, right? Look at this image. Like this is crazy. Like this is literally the first image of this product. Again, sorry if it's your product, but like this is not how. Yes, it's showcasing all that it has, but not on page one. Okay. Again, you want to sequence it. Tell them right here, tell them what it's going to see, high level bullet points, then show them, give them a closer look, right? And then convert them. FAQs, reviews, right? Again, it creates confidence, gives them the necessary information to say, yeah, this is the product that satisfies the needs that I have for my students and for my classroom. Awesome, right? That's the goal, right? Again, simple, execute, right? This is what we found. Again, what we found is that people that with successful preview optimizations, their conversion rates increased another 23%, right? So what this looks like, again, another about $1,900, right? So bottom line, can someone mute there again? There we go. So what I found is that, or what we found rather, is about 1,800 bucks. And that really is it's really all about confidence. And when you create confidence, cha-chings go up, bottom line, and you can stand out from the crowd. You can differentiate. You can show that your product does meet those needs. Cool. So previews are super important, guys. They create confidence for the customer. I cannot stress that enough. I know they're like pulling teeth, and a lot of people don't like them, but I hope I've won you over to the, hey, I'm a preview fan with this. Okay. I want your guys' businesses to thrive. You know, whatever, for whatever end goal that you have or motivation, like that's the ultimately like what I want. I want you guys to be able to accomplish that. So pricing optimization, right? Again, like I talked about, a lot of times we underprice our products, right? So what we found is that people often underpriced, right? So when it comes to pricing, think about small incremental changes, right? Can impact overall earnings, right? A lot of times people are scared to change prices. And a lot of times people ask this question, like one of the most asked questions I get, you know, what's a good conversion rate? Well, it depends, right? It really depends on what? The price, right? So as price is cheaper, more demand, more people will buy. As price goes up, less people will buy. That's just the reality of it. So conversion rates are not static by price, and they actually change throughout the year, right? By price point, what we've analyzed the data. So it's very dynamic. Okay. Again, we just pulled recent data on conversion rates. This is like, again, last year, $5 product was converting around 10%. Look, right now it's $5 product is converting at 15%, and a $25 product is converting at 8%, and a $100 product right now is 4%. Now, $100 products are not being bought as much right now in this economy with inflation, et cetera. But this is my point, right? It's when you ask, hey, what's a good conversion rate? The answer is, well, it depends. It's relative. Okay. So what I want you to do is identify those top converters, high volume, high conversion. Okay. Like this is a good indicator that you can increase your prices. Okay. And if oftentimes you've seen, I'm scared, I'm not going to raise my price. Test it out. No pricing change is static. You can always change it. Okay. So this is one of our first examples. I love this example from Beth's store in March of 2021, right? Her product was priced at 21 bucks. We changed it. We actually increased the price 26%, right? And I can use this example because I love it. It's like, but ultimately the following year, when we looked at it, a year later, we had sold 565, and we actually increased the conversion rate. So we made an extra 2,600 bucks on that one price change. Okay. So just for that time period. And we looked at January of 22 versus January 21. It's insane, right? But again, we were undervaluing that product and the market held up and it actually increased, which is, again, that blows my mind. So don't underestimate the value of trying incremental price changes, okay? Like literally it can be the highest return on investment for your time, meaning it's the quickest change, least amount of effort, and can yield results, okay? Fast. Again, we analyzed about 8,000 successful product changes and with products increasing or decreasing 10 to 16%. The result was this, $2,000, right? Again, $1,900, yeah, almost 2,000. So this is the fruit of that, what you can have when you're willing to like make changes. The underlying thing that I hear working with sellers is that I'm scared to change my prices, but hands down. But a mindset here is like shift your mind. Like there's A and B decisions in life, right? Pricing changes are not irreversible, right? So a decision is like I go through this door and I can't walk like through it again. It closes behind me. Whereas like B decisions, like it's a revolving door. You know, I think about like a revolving door downtown hotel in New York. Like you see those kids run around and spin around. It's the same thing. You can revisit that door as many times as you want. The same thing with your products. Okay. Like don't be afraid to change it and test the market, see how it responds. Then evaluate the conversion rate. Did it go up? Did it go down? Okay. Let me just grab some water real quick. All right. So we're going to dive into, so now that we handled, like, again, we just sprinted through product listing optimization in like 25 minutes. So that was super fast. But like, again, what I wanted to showcase for you guys is like what we saw, connect what we saw in your audits. There's a ton of opportunity. And so now we're going to actually like, hey, so how much money are you leaving on the table, right? And this is like the whole concept of the audit. Can we quantify that for you? And we did, right? So we're going to walk through the audit right now. Okay. And we're going to give you that. And then we'll give you the bonus file and we'll go from there. Okay. So your audit, right? When you got it. So literally we analyzed at this point now we have over 500,000 products. And what we do is we benchmark it across products, across price points to see where there are gaps versus like top performers versus bottom performers and how to optimize specific things. So that's what we did. And that's what you see in your audit, right? So you can identify what's working across the marketplace and how you compare against that, right? And so where your biggest opportunities lie. Right on. So we're trying to highlight where you have opportunities so you can, and how to accomplish that and and basically which product, you know, would be the best fit for you relative to where you're at on your journey on TPT, right? Because we got a lot of questions. Hey, is this good for me? Is this not good for me? So again, the audit is really to help you give more visibility to what opportunity do you have and how can we help you get there and what product that YDP could offer could help you with. That's ultimately the goal there. And it shines visibility on your store, which is great. And shows you, hey, do you have opportunity? Absolutely. I think every store has opportunity. Now, so let's go in and I'm going to showcase and we'll walk through it. And again, if you have questions about interpreting your audit, because we did get questions about that, I will happily answer them at the end just for flow of the presentation and talk like an implementation that I'll come back to that. Okay. But like essentially at the top here, what we're doing, can you see my screen still, guys? You can't see my screen?
Can you zoom in on your file?
Yeah. Can you see it though? My screen is.
Yes, it's just very small.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Peter. Your engagement is awesome. I appreciate it. All right. So again, sample store here. What we're looking at, again, this is a larger store. This is a six-figure store that we gave sample store. What we're looking at over the next 12 months, okay? Again, and when you see that, if you have a ton of optimizations, you don't have to do them all at once, right? Like that's the biggest thing. People are like, oh, this is a ton. Like we're just showing you opportunity. We're giving you an example of again, we're giving you something you can implement right away. So in this case, pricing, go and consider changing a price 5 to 10%. That's it. Test it out. See how it, like in this particular case, this product has a low conversion rate. I'm getting that because it says price decrease, meaning my conversion is underperforming relative to other products like this at this price point. Okay. That's how we came to that conclusion. And so then what we did is we break it down for you by task. So again, we know that you're busy. We know that you have limited time, especially if you're still in the classroom, right? Dealing with kids that aren't sugar highs, it's kind of complicated, right? So, and you still want to do your side hustle. And so what we did is we break it down by here's the biggest tasks in terms of time, biggest impact. So like pricing optimization, essentially, there's who cannot go lower price? Absolutely. There's 209. Absolutely. I can definitely go and try and lower prices and test to see how that happens and see what happens, right? SEO optimization, right? There's 113 titles that are not fully utilizing those 80 characters, right? Opportunity there. Okay. Pricing optimization. So obviously here, this is something that if you look at this one, there's more pricing decreases than there are increases. So it sounds like I might have overpriced for a particular season or for a particular product line, right? So think about these tasks as being high leverage, low effort. Okay. So should be able to implement quickly and get more bang for my buck, faster return on investment for my time, right? These ones, right? In this case, you have previews, right? Again, a big opportunity here, actually the biggest, like from a conversion standpoint. Yes, they take more time, but ultimately there's opportunity to increase your conversion and unlock potentially between 32 and $70,000. That's crazy. That's like, how do we come to those numbers, right? We look at best performers by category, by price, and calculate the delta or the difference. Okay, based on if they were to just convert at the average rate or the above average rate or the top rate, what would that be, right? And so that's one indicator of what we use and how do we come up with these calculations, okay? And then cover optimization, less, but again, stopping the scroll, what we just talked about, you guys. And then here, in this case, adding previews. So this one actually is less. It's interesting. Not a ton of opportunity, so I wouldn't start here, obviously. But if you look at it, it's like, hey, maybe it's because these products aren't being found in search. So that transitions really to here. It's like, look at these products. There's 93% of them have been sold. So 7% of products have not been sold. And so of those 29 products or 7%, look at 27 of them do not rank for page one for any keyword, right? What we talked about, right? So this translates, right? So this is what we got visible, like what you guys asked for. So we're going to give you more sample, like in the sample file, which I'm going to give to you like in like a minute. And we'll walk through that. Essentially, this is what you see, right? Like it does not rank for any keyword on page one. That's what you want to go in and tackle, right? Again, it's just showing you a sample of how you can go and do that and the opportunity that's there, right? So, and then it gives you this overview of your store versus other stores similar to you, right? And so it gives you a green light, red light, hey, how you did versus like how you're doing versus your peers or your cohorts, right? And so it breaks it up on basically 8 different metrics, like monthly earnings, monthly page views, total active products, and conversion rate, average price, repeat buyers. And then it highlights your strengths, right? And then gives you opportunities and recommendations. And so this is really like, hey, where do I have the biggest opportunity in summary format? If I were to take a quick snapshot or a 30,000-foot view of my store, what opportunities do I see, right? So in this case, hey, I'm doing well, right? Monthly earnings is awesome, but hey, my page is actually less than my cohort. Why? I have less products, but my products actually make more. Oh, why? Because I actually charge more, but that actually impacts my conversion rate. Am I okay with that? Right? That's the question you have to ask. But hey, it's related. If I can get my conversion rate to increase because of those preview recommendations, all of a sudden I can boost my overall conversion rate and be more competitive with my peers, right? And ultimately get more effective with every page view that I get. I can convert them at a higher rate, right? And I have a strong repeat customer rate, which is great. That means you can create more products and people will buy from you because they like what you're creating, right? That's a good signal, right? That means that keep creating what you're creating, keep feeding your loyal customers because they will buy from you, right? Again, and then it just lays out the strengths, opportunities, and then the different, like, here's the different recommendations for you, right? So that's how I would interpret that. Again, for those that had questions on how to interpret, again, I can go slower and back to this, but like that's the general flow of this. Okay. So if we go to your store audit, you guys asked for more, like literally this was an idea from you. So we're listening to you guys. And so you got that file, go ahead and drop in the word optimize and here, and it's actually case sensitive. So try that. And what we realized, you guys, is that file, when we sent it out, the first page is blank, right? It just says your store audit bonus. So like just scroll down, it starts on page 2, and I'll walk you through that. So let me just give people a second, right? So again, thanks I mean, I love that. So I get for future, like we'll probably actually like give you guys more product recommendations to have you have more, meat and more opportunity to see the opportunities in your store. And so when you guys anyone have any issues with it, I will pull it up
Is
right
it,
here.
did you say all caps?
Yeah, it is all caps. Sorry, we forgot. I know that's annoying. It should not be. It's case sensitive. Okay. So this is what your file should look like. Let me know when you guys are all looking at it. Got it, got it. Cool. All right. So this is your file, okay? And then what we did for you is you have again similar. So just think about a different layer of what from your audit, okay? And all it is we're just giving you one optimization that you can go try by optimization type that we just covered. Okay. So optimize preview, decrease price, optimize cover, thumbnail preview, fill out title. So what we did, we tried to find products that have the highest opportunity relative to your store in the next 60 days. In some cases, we couldn't find that. So we gave you a product that has in the next 12 months, right? And if you for whatever reason, there's two audits, by the way, you guys. Some stores have just SEO audits, and some stores have we call our analytic tool or performance optimization tools. So you have the full audit, and other stores we're saying, hey, we're just recommending, hey, you just need to focus on SEO. So there's two different types of audits. And so for the SEO people, I'll get to you in a second. It's in the same file, it's just down below. So you guys here click through on this product, and from what you just saw in the best practices, find one that you can implement like tonight or tomorrow, right? Like the idea is like test it out, and find one that is relevant to you, and again, obviously the one that has the biggest impact, closest, and we try to do again the next 60 days, but in some cases we had to do the next 12 months for some data limitations for particular stores. Okay. So everyone have any issues with it? Peter, you could just increase the bundle itself.
So I guess, well, I'm curious because aren't most bundles typically priced at 20% off?
No, you can go more. You can go at a deeper discount. Yeah, that was old TPT rules pre IXL acquisition. Now you can go beyond that.
You mean like lowering it to 10% so I make more money?
Or you can increase the overall product. Yeah, so you could do it either way. You can increase the product, so reduce the discount to your point, or you could increase the individual product. Or yeah, you can handle it either way. So if you want to reduce the discount overall, or to your question, you can increase the individual products to increase the overall budget or the overall bundle.
Yeah, because I honestly think the resource prices are way undervalued.
Yeah.
Peter,
Okay.
I just increased, hi, I'm Sarah, sorry.
Hi,
I
Sarah.
just increased like quite a few of my individual resources that were in a bundle, and I'm still selling both the individual resources and the
Yep.
bundle with no additives to the actual resource. And I was very nervous to do that, but I'm still converting every single day on those bundles. So I only increased it by like 25 to 50 cents and then kind of stall. And then I'm going to keep going and actually add more to the actual resource as well as my goal next.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And I love that. So one of the myths too, you guys, is that product lines all have to be priced the same. They don't, right? I think that's one of those ideas. Like we have inherited that based on just idea, but there's like if unit one of a product line is crushing it and converting really well, that obviously is a sign from the market that that product is highly valued and they like that content and that curricula. So price it accordingly. Like you don't have to, they might not value something as much in your product line as something else. Okay, that's okay, right? But you know what your winner is. So, if it's converting well, you have that signal, go ahead and raise it. And again, you do not have to stick to this idea that every single product line has to be the same price. I don't know where that idea came from, but that runs prevalent.
Garrett, could
Yeah.
I ask, if you have a product that's $4.99 and it could be increased because the conversion rate's good,
Yeah.
what happens if if you're increasing it, then you're taking it out of that under $5 category? Do you think that's a problem?
Yeah, it's a great question, Liz. I love that. So no, I would test again. My whole thing is testing it, right? And seeing how it performs. Does unit sales do units sold go up? Does page view go up? Does conversion rate go up? And then you can, again, I get the idea. You don't want to fall out of that category, but again, I don't know. There's not any data on how many people actually apply that $5 filter, for example. So
Right. Okay.
that's one of those things that I would test and then give it a couple weeks, see how it goes. And then pull back if it's not successful, or if it is successful, then you have your answer.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I've got a question. So I received only SEO optimizations.
Yeah, I will get to you. It's on this same file, Ginger. I'll get to you in a sec real quick. So absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and again, sorry, I'm just seeing in the chat here, just pulled it up. If you guys did not get this file, it's because we didn't either you submitted an audit like a day ago and it hasn't been processed yet, all right, or you didn't complete your audit. So this is we sent a file to everybody who completed an audit. I think as of yesterday morning. And so if you've submitted for an audit after the fact, obviously processing time didn't allow, but like we will still send it to you. But yeah, everyone that successfully completed an audit as of yesterday morning should have a file. Okay. And I will, like, you guys, great questions. I can come back to these questions. Let me go to the SEO people and then we can, okay. And I'm happy to literally to answer. So all of your, how much should I decrease the price? The current price is, it depends. I usually, for what I usually recommend is 10 to 5 to 10% to start there. Okay. And start increments and then test and see, right? A lot of people have fear and they don't do it because they don't know if it's going to be successful or not. And that's honestly why we created YDP. It was like to be able to have confidence. Hey, I made a change? Did it work? Did it not change? So what we recommend is start with 5 to 10% increments and then see how it goes from there. How do you get the other review? The whole audit? Yeah, this guy. Yeah, that is where we need you to finish your credential process. And again, we can't pull your data and analyze your data and tell you where you have opportunity without having access to your store. That's just the reality. So some people, like, again, we had 600 people request an audit, only 400 people actually submitted credentials. So those are like, again, 33%, 40% that didn't get an audit, even though they initially requested, they didn't finish the credential step. So we need you to finish the credential step so we can deliver the full insights to you. Okay. Okay. So I'll let Anna and I think Kiani, they can answer you guys who didn't receive it. We're happy to do it for you. But yeah. So your audit would probably look like just SEO audit. So some stores, right? Based on characteristics of the store and cohort, they get an SEO audit that just looks at this SEO, which would be like your product performance, right? And so for those, Ginger, you've been super patient. So I'm going to go into and show you that now, and then I'll loop back around. Okay. So in your file, you guys, you see, again, this is just a recap here, covers and your preview, again, what we just talked about, again, just reminders, pro tips, best practices for pricing, like we talked about. And then here's your audit for, so if you just had the SEO audit, this is what your file should look like. You should have 3 products, right? And again, essentially what we're showing is you told us, hey, I want to see which products don't have any visibility, which ones are not ranking. So what we did here is we said, that gives you the number of reviews. Reviews are a big indicator if you can rank for something. And then what's the max rank that particular product is on, and what's the highest keyword, like what's the keyword that it's ranking for. So in this case, this product, the highest rank is page 4, and ESL Classroom is the keyword that you're ranking for. So how do you use this, right? You would want to go find a derivative or a long tail keyword for ESL Classroom, like ESL Classroom for 3rd graders or ESL Classroom writing activities, something like that, because that's, again, less competitive, and that's going to give you a higher probability of going and being on page 1, right? Again, the whole goal for any product first is you got to get on page 1, okay? But you got to get on page 1 for at least 1 keyword so that you can get visibility, right? If you do not have an email list,
can you zoom in real quick?
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep. If it will let me zoom in, it's for whatever reason it's zooming in on. There we go. It's just delayed. How's that? Better?
Better. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Garrett, I've recently had a resource where I added third grade or third and fourth to the end of the title. And then when I searched for the keyword and added that into the search bar, it disappeared from search. So without the third in the title, like if I just look for it as the keyword without third, it shows up on page 1. But if I add third and then put that in the search bar, it disappears altogether. And I brought it up with TPT and they couldn't give me an answer.
So you're saying whether you use the number or the word, is the search result is different?
No, I added third 3RD to my title.
Yep.
And then after I let it, I saved it and I waited for it to come available like the next day. And then when I searched for it with the keyword just by itself, without the third, it was on page 1. But when I added third to my search term, it disappeared altogether.
That's really strange. That's not normal behavior. You did say, and they didn't tell you why?
No, I think they just gave me the runaround pretty much and said that
can you forward us that email? I would love to see it.
Yeah, I can do that.
hello@yourdataplaybook.com.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be interesting to look at for you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, it's Ginger again. Can I ask another question?
Yeah, absolutely.
If I only got the SEO optimization, does that mean, and mine doesn't look like what you showed prior, does that mean my store is too small or there wasn't enough data?
Yeah. So the priority, again, if we were to, so for our recommendation for you, Ginger, would be focus on getting more traffic, focus on SEO before you worry about anything else. Like, you can do that, but if you were to like come join YDP, our recommendation would be like focus on SEO first, get more traffic, because you can do optimizations, but if you can do optimizations on previews, but if you're not getting traffic at the top of your funnel, right? Like that awareness layer, those optimizations aren't going to pay off for you. Right? Because you need a certain amount of traffic, like 40, 50 page views per month would be good on a particular product. So yeah, I recommend it. Like that's where we're saying get visibility first. That's your biggest leverage. That's your biggest to get that momentum, get visibility, and then then you can do some other optimizations.
Okay, because I'm in the middle of redoing my thumbs. I have some really, really old, really bad thumbnails. So I was in the middle of doing those, and I'll work on SEO as well. I just was curious as to the rest of the store. So I guess okay.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is like our goal is to help you be the most effective as possible. Like I could tell, join, but like the reality is SEO is probably the better fit based on where you're at if you got that recommendation from us.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Yep. And then again, to expound on that, you guys, like, again, the SEO pro tips, what we just talked about, right? They're all here as a recap. You can grab these, reference these, use these, implement these in your day-to-day, right? This, again, people can complicate SEO, but the reality is like, if you implement, Ginger, if you go through this list and you do these things, you will definitely see results.
Okay.
Are you saying that the keywords on the far right, if we had the SEO one, those are the keywords we need to put into our product name, or are the like what exactly do we need to replace in our product name? Does that make sense?
You don't need so good question, Sarah. In this case, what I'm saying is this keyword is the best keyword for your product because it ranks the highest. In this case, it ranks for page 4. Okay. So if you can find a keyword that is more specific for like ESL classrooms, like going back to long tail keyword examples, like ESL classroom activities, right? Something more specific, less traffic you have a higher likelihood of going to page 2 or page 1, right? Because it's more specific, less traffic, but a lot more relevant for that particular product. So it's saying, hey, can you find a long tail keyword for this keyword? That's what it's selling it, because it's going to give you a better chance of ranking. Yeah. Keyword optimizations, I would start with the title. The title have the highest weight, Aaron. And then you do the snippet, 150 words, the first 150 words. And any keyword that you cannot fit in the title, you can dump it in dump it, but and obviously in a way that's readable. In the first 150 words of the description, they take it into consideration for search, but yeah, the title by far has the biggest weight. Long tail keywords, again, that would be in the SEO tools, Carmela. Again, yeah, you can go in the search bar in TPT. It's limited. Yeah, like one of our tools has like, over 150,000 keywords where you can find them. We have the largest keyword bank in like outside of TPT, and we've been collecting keywords for like 2 years, I think, or 3 years almost. So yeah, you can do some work in the TPT search bar, but that's obviously, where our product would be of help to you. Yeah, you can try you've tracked them. The reality, so here's a limitation. You only get the top 5 recommendations or suggestions in the search bar. We get up to 1,000. Like, so we go so they only show the top 5, but we go like top 100, top 200. Sometimes like math, we get like literally on one keyword, we get 2,000 suggestions, and you're only ever going to see the top 5. So there's a lot of long tail keywords that you're not going to be able to service. It can be super niche, right? You're saying, and you might find some. In some cases that we don't find that's the case. Yeah. And I write down exactly. You can write down the top 5. What we find in Spanish, I think there's like 2,000 unique suggestions, for example. So you'll only always get the top 5. That's why we created the tool, because we wanted more visibility. And hey, we can't get all the visibility with just typing in the top 5. So this is the bonus file, Karen. Then you go to so this is the bonus file. If you got the audit, you should get, so you have one specific example, right? Which is this. We send you an example to test and think, so like this is your recommendation. Now, based on your guys' feedback this month, we're going to add more recommendations. So that's why we created the bonus file, so that you guys could see that. And then we're walking you through that now. So this is what you should see if you got that. And then you get your one example here that you can act on today. And then people say, hey, can I see a little bit more? And so that's where we created that bonus file. Cool. And let me come back. I'm going to close out, and then so let's rock and roll, and I'll be here until I exhaust all of your questions. Okay. So you got this file. Okay. And so go start implementing, like literally go start and test like optimizations based on those products, based on the best practices that we've just reviewed, right? And like start making more money, right? And this is where YDP comes into play. Like what we have found is like people stop short of doing this consistently, right? Like why? This is the part that makes money. So why is that the case? Right? Well, the reality is like, because you're busy, you're still in the classroom. If Peter's still here, I don't know if you still see him, but like he's dealing with kids that are hopped up on sugar, right? Like you have little time to manually analyze your products. Like how do you know which products to optimize? Like, do you have data? Like, yeah, you don't. Or whether like I was talking about pricing earlier, like whether your change made you more money or not. I think that's one of the biggest things is like, I don't want to make a change because I don't know if it's going to work, right? So there's this fear around that, right? And that's really where your data playbook comes in, and why we came to be, right? So like, that's why we created your data playbook. Like we want to be your end-to-end solution for your data-driven TPT business. Like we want to help you take actionable recommendations and continually optimize your products, right? So we do that through automation. We give you the strategic playbook, right? Again, strategy plans, weekly plays. We give you recommendations. And then we give you coaching and enablement. So you're not all by yourself. Like, okay, I have this now. What do I do? We have like 6 monthly calls to support you guys at different stages in your journey. So like the question is how much do you think, how could we help you do this? Like how we do it, right? So with like product listing optimization, this is where like obviously what we do, we collect your data using our automated VA data service. You already saw some of that with your audit. Okay. We gave you an initial taste of that, right? And this is how it comes together. We analyze your store, we identify the holes and give you those recommendations, right? On a weekly basis in your strategy plans. So we identify those opportunities and send them to you in an email, right? And then we send you it on a quarterly basis too. So you have your to-do list for the quarter and you just tackle that, right? That's called your strategy plans. And then we break those strategy plans down into weekly plays and send you it in weekly bite-sized pieces so that it's not overwhelming, okay? And then you take action, right? You implement, and then we tell you whether that change was successful or not, right? And so you can see, did that help me or not? That's the bottom line. Like, and we know, like, the reality is there's so many barriers and hurdles for you to be able to do that on your own. So that's why we're like, hey, we have to provide a solution, and that's what we did, right? So like, just if you were to try to do this on your own, how long do you think it would take, and how much do you think it would cost, right? I'll tell you, it takes a long time. How long would it take without the help, right? Like, essentially, we did a benchmark. Again, we like data. We're data people. We benchmarked a store with 150 products to see how much time it would take to manually download, compile, structure, and analyze the data, right? Essentially, just to get the data in a place where you could work it, to utilize it, analyze it, 16 hours, right? Imagine you paid, your time is worth 25 to 50 bucks an hour. That's 400 to 800 bucks a month in time. That's almost like $10,000 a year, okay? So just think about that from a cost perspective. Again, if people have time poverty, they don't have a ton of time, you probably don't have that extra time, right? Imagine you want to do this, check your changes, check your optimizations, recommendations on a weekly basis. Now you're talking about 64 hours a month, right? So pretty significant chunk of your life. And so you're talking, like, from a cost, if you were to hire it out, again, 1,600 to 32, right? Take that out to a year, you're talking between 20 and 40,000 bucks just to get the data in a spot where you can actually use it and to make decisions, right? And like, so we were like, when we looked at that, we're like, it's not possible for TPT sellers to become data driven. Like, we got to provide a solution. And so that's where we came up with Your Data Playbook. Like we want to help you overcome these solutions, like these hurdles, for way less, right? That is the goal, right? So we wanted to do it for 10 to 20x cheaper. And that's where, instead of you having to do it yourself, or hire somebody, right? So that's what we did. So we created Your Data Playbook, right? So if you look, I want you to take this is the next step. If you're ready, right? This is how much it costs, right? Again, these are for people that want to take the next step, unlock potential earnings. There's no pressure, right? It's 10 to 20% cheaper, or 10 to 20x cheaper than you doing it yourself or hiring someone to do it. And not to mention, I have seen, and as you can see in this, what we just talked about, I've seen members pay for their entire yearly membership with one change, okay? And you can go test it out now that you have more, okay? We just showcase and walk through best practices about how you can do that. Yes, people say that we get, hey, the YDP is expensive, right? We get that from people, and that's fine, right? It's not for everybody, but we know the value that we provide, and we've seen the results, and we provide something that no one else provides. And it is expensive to run data. Like, again, 20 to 40 grand a year just to be able to do what we can do for you. Not to mention hiring a data scientist, which is a whole lot of money too. And so we wanted to bring that capability to you. We feel like, hey, why can't they be able to have this? Like, why can't my wife have it? Why can't you have it? So that's what we did. So we wanted to make it accessible. And again, bronze, if you think about these different tier packages, how I would position it for you in your store, bronze is best for side hustlers and part-timers, right? So like, hey, you want to get access to data, but you don't love data. You want to get like access to, hey, I want to be able to see the benefits of optimizations, but I don't want to see all the tools. Like, I just want, hey, tell me what I need to do. I'm going to make the change, see if it worked. Okay. And then like silver is best for side hustlers and then full-timers who love data and want to see the benefits and want to dig in more and have more visibility and more control over their store. And then gold is really for, yeah, we've had a couple part-timers do it because they really, really love data and they're hardcore. But I would say it's best for full-timers and data lovers who really want to maximize their earnings potential and have visibility into their store, right? So like that's like how I would position this, okay? And so if you're ready to sign up, like, scan the QR code. We can also drop the link. And then also, like, for people that are ready to take a decision tonight or in the next 24 hours or 48 over the holiday week, like, we have benefit. We want to get you started, and we want to, like, again, we're all about empowering you, lowering that hurdle. So we have for fast action bonuses, right? So if you're ready to take a decision now, then hey, again, this isn't for everybody. We create the audit so that you can know if this is for you or not. Okay. But if you are ready to go, what we want to do for people that sign up just for a yearly SEO plan, we will optimize one title for you, right? It's $100 value. We'll do it for you. We'll email you after the purchase. We'll pick the product together and we'll be on the way, right? So again, if you sign up, we'll do a done for you title optimization. Okay. Bonus number 2. And again, these bonuses stack. Okay. Bonus number 2, you get to pick a title, cover, or a preview optimization. We will optimize a cover, optimize a preview for you. If you sign up for YDP, our optimization tools, right? Like what we just went through. Again, you pick the product, we pick it together, we can make a recommendation. We'll be off. You'll be implementing and on the races in that product, or out of the gates in the race. Then bonus number 3. Anyone who signs up for a yearly, again, you will give you access to our for a year, our growth tier for SEO tools, right? So again, we're serious. If you want the package, you want the SEO tools, visibility, and you want optimization tools, that's a good combo, right? Great value. It's like $400 right there. Again, sounds like a lot for some people. I get it, right? So this is a good opportunity. These are exclusive bonuses today. For people that are here. And then also for those that sign up for one of our gold or above, like I will do a 30-minute onboarding call with you. And I'll look at your store and I'll give you a strategic plan to be able to take you to the next level, and we'll kick off together, right? So those are the bonuses, the exclusive bonuses that I have for you today. Thank you for being here. Again, we create this product for you guys so that you can be still in the classroom if you want to be, but still make more money and be able to accomplish what you want and allow your products to make the most money for you and work harder for you, right? And that's why we really are passionate about taking your data and turning it into dollars for you, okay? So the card is open. Again, like I just said, get after it. If you think this is a good fit for you, I hope after tonight you feel like it is a good fit for you. And if it's not right now, that's okay. Try to implement the optimizations that we share with you. Again, there will be hurdles, like I said, like, hey, did it actually work? That we've solved that problem for you, right? But you can test it yourself. You can use your TPT dashboard to see. You're not going to get the same level of granularity, and it's going to be hard, but it's possible. Obviously, we think we have the best solution. The point is, we want you to be successful, bottom line, and we're passionate about that. And we've seen multiple people be successful with this. And so we're rooting for you. It's the ball's in your court, whether you want to take action or not. And yeah, that's what I have for you tonight. So join now. And again, those bonuses are exclusive. And I will stay here and answer any more Q&A that I didn't get to with the implementation, with the bonuses. But thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Thanks for trusting us with your store credentials. I know that was a big step for a lot of people too. So awesome. I love it.